Hello, everyone. I'll just wait for a few more minutes for everybody to log on and join us for today. Hi, FYI, I'm just very excited to be back with you guys doing a webinar talking about one of my favorite things, collagen. So this is exciting times for me today. For those of you guys who are just joining in, I have actually put a little poll on here. So if you can see, I'm wondering if you guys can see it while I'm doing the presentation. I will share my screen in a minute. But this poll is just to get an idea if any of you guys are currently using a collagen product, and if there is any, if you have had questions around marine collagen and bovine, because I find these are the two most biggest questions that I have, and we're going to go over all of this tonight during this conversation. So I'm just going to wait a few more minutes. I can see everybody can see me and hear me, so that's awesome. Maybe if you are joining in, I see we have a lot more participants joining in. There's that chat box over on the right-hand side. So if you have questions, I have saved some time after the webinar to answer these questions for you. So please feel free. Oh, awesome. I'd love to see where everybody's from. I'm in beautiful Vancouver right now. It's a sunny day, as you can see coming in through my window here. So I will answer all the questions after the webinar. And I will come in and make sure that I try to get to as many as possible. I have chosen one of the, probably about 4 or 5 of the most frequently asked questions to go over tonight, but we're going to be going over a bunch of stuff. So please feel free to ask away. So I'll just wait another 1 or 2 minutes and give everybody a chance before we dive in. Oh, wow, look at everybody. Hello, everyone. Oh, so great. Maybe I'll ask while we're waiting, how many of you guys who are currently on here are currently taking a collagen product? Because that's always a great, way to see. I find a lot of people start taking collagen, but they're not sure which collagen they should be taking, or they don't know how to take it. Even for various reasons. So you guys, tonight we're going to talk all about the many benefits of collagen. So not even just the beauty part of it, but the many benefits of it for our health. So I'm excited to dive into that. I see it's in my pantry. I know a lot of people that do that buy it, they don't know how to use it, or they kind of don't get into the routine of it. So I'm going to share some tips and tricks. Oh, wow. Look at this. Yes, good. We're going to talk. Oh, wonderful. There's all of these. You guys are so awesome. You guys are great. So I'm going to actually just pop my screen on now so you guys can see the slides. Nice to see you guys all here. So I'm going to share my screen so we can dive in. I'll be in the bottom. And I will definitely be able to, let's see here. I just want to make sure that you guys can all see my screen before I get started here, because it does show over here in the chats before we get going. Great. Okay, awesome. So everybody can see my screen here. I just want to make sure before we dive in, you can see that I have my slides up here. For some reason, it won't let me go to the chat. Yep, great, awesome. So you guys, we are going to get started because I'm going to be with you guys for about an hour here. So first off, thank you so much for Healthy Planet for having me. Tonight, we're going to dive in all around collagen, and we are going to, I want to say thank you for Organica for having me. I've spent the last few years discussing collagen with Organica. I was their national education trainer for a few years, a couple years ago. So I got to share my joy of talking about collagen for many years. For those of you who haven't attended a webinar with me, my name is Chelan Wilkins, and I'm a registered holistic nutritionist. I've been in the natural health and wellness industry for over 5 years. I used to have my own private practice, and then I became an educator with Organica, and now I've just spent the last few years talking about various health and wellness, more focusing on women's health and hormones. I was one of the co-authors of the Collagen Guidebook with Organica, so if you haven't checked that out, I really encourage you to. And I'm also a host of a podcast all around women's health and hormones. So let's dive in to collagen, because that's what we're here for. So tonight we're kind of going to go over a variety of things, but this just gives you an idea what we're going to dive into. So you'll see on the screen a lot of content. We're going to talk about what collagen is. We're going to talk about the various types of collagen, because There's a lot of confusion about, what collagen is best for what. But also a lot of people don't understand that our body is 90% of our body is made up of collagen. So it's always very surprising for people when they hear that there's different, collagen is throughout our entire body, not just more about our skin, hair, and nails, is which we really associate collagen towards. So we're going to discuss the various types of collagen. We're going to dive into the world of collagen supplements. And that's probably why a lot of you guys are here tonight, because there are so many collagen products on the market. And it's really can be overwhelming. And for a lot of us, it's just choosing the right ones or how to know which ones work best for us. So we're going to go over all of that. We're definitely going to dive into bone broth versus collagen and even how they work very well together. And we're going to talk about the benefits of bone broth, because there is a lot of benefits on top of just it being high in collagen. We're going to talk about how to choose the right product for you and why you should add this into your daily routine. And we're also going to dive into the health benefits just outside of the aging and our beauty, hair, skin purposes. So there's amazing benefits that collagen and bone broth provide in our body. And so we're going to dive into that. So collagen's incredible rise in popularity is definitely towards the beauty fame. So collagen products and supplements have been on the market for many, many years. But over the last, I want to say 5 or 6 years, we've seen a huge substantial growth in collagen products on the shelf, and a variety of them. And I'm sure you can, agree with me when you go into a health food store, you notice that there's so many different collagen products on the shelf. And that's because there are so many health benefits. And so collagen definitely has been on the rise for many, many years. And a lot of the times when I talk to people about collagen, they're really just, what is it? Like, what is it about taking a collagen product? Why do we need it? And what does collagen even do in our body? So as you can see here on the screen, there's various points, but collagen is actually the most abundant form of protein in our body. So as I said earlier, collagen makes up about 90% of our body. So you think of the surface area that we have. So we're going to talk about the various types of collagen in our body, but for example, type 1 collagen is the type of collagen that you see anything on the exterior of our body. So think our hair, skin, and our nails. Okay, so think of the surface area of that. So that's just one type. We actually have over 27 different types of collagen in our body, but the main ones that we're going to discuss tonight, you'll hear me talk about quite frequently, is type 1, 2, and 3. So it's the most abundant form of protein that we find in our body. So collagen actually provides the strength and the elasticity, the tone and structure of our skin. So, as we, when we're in our 20s, we have that nice, firm skin, everything seems smooth, everything seems nice and plump. And then as we slowly start to age, that can actually even change. So we'll notice that, we lose that skin elasticity, things kind of start to droop down. We may notice some fine lines and or wrinkles. So collagen is actually responsible for that. It's also responsible for the strength and elasticity and the tensile strength in our joints, our ligaments, and our cartilages. So again, many of you may be suffering from arthritis, which is actually the breakdown of the cartilage within our joints. And that breakdown of that cartilage is due to a loss of collagen. And we'll dive into what happens as we age and that loss of collagen production within our body and why supplementation is so beneficial. So it's a naturally occurring protein. So it is a building block within our body. Our body produces its own collagen. So straight from birth, we produce our own collagen. And these building blocks, and you'll hear me talk about, are certain amino acids. And these main amino acids, so there's around 17 different amino acids in collagen. But the 3 main amino acids that you're going to hear me talk about is proline, hydroxyproline, and glycine. And it's actually these 3 amino acids that are, responsible for the collagen formation within our body. So very, very important when we're talking about the amino acid profile and when we're comparing, collagen and bone broth. It's that amino acid profile compared to even just the protein, the amino acid profile that we'll find when we're just eating protein. So very, very different, but those 3 amino acids have healing benefits in our body and are responsible for the collagen production. So we find it in our connective tissues. So we already talked about that. So our joints and our ligaments and our cartilages. It does improve our skin moisture and our supplements. So when we're talking about our skin moisture, hyaluronic acid is actually really important when it comes to that nice dewy complexion that we have in our skin and that moisture content, as well as the moisture in around our joints. That's known as our synovial fluid. So as we get older, that loss of that collagen production and that breakdown of that cartilage is also linked to a loss of that synovial fluid. So collagen works very well with hyaluronic acid. So you can take hyaluronic acid in supplementation form, but collagen is also responsible for having that nice, synovial fluid as well as bone broth. So we'll dive into that a little bit further on into the webinar. So the main types of collagen, types 1, 2, and 3. So as we mentioned, there's over 27 different types. Sometimes when people are talking about the various types of collagen, it can go up to about 16 different types and their functions within the body, but there is over 27 different types internally within our body. So making up 90% of our body structure is made up of collagen. So the main ones we're going to talk about tonight, you guys, is type 1, 2, and 3. And I think this is kind of where people get a better understanding of, collagen and what it does in our body and why supplementation may be important for you. So type 1 collagen, as I mentioned, is anything on the exterior of our body, you guys. So this is found in our hair, our skin, and our nails. So a majority of the times when people are thinking about stepping into a supplementation regime with collagen, it's because they're starting to notice things or aging signs. So fine lines can be around our eyes, our crow's feet. We may start to notice those deeper nasal labial folds. So those are lines that go from the bottom of our nose around our mouth. You may start to notice that your hands, your skin starts to seem a bit thinner. A lot of times people will have dry, brittle nails, so their nails will break a lot easier, or they might peel and crack, as well as their hair. So we might start to notice that our hair is seeming lifeless and dull, or may start to be thinning. That can be from a loss of collagen, or that collagen production slowing down or decreasing, or not even getting enough protein and or collagen through our diets to keep up with the collagen production and help with our hair, skin, and nails. It makes up, like I said, 90% of our collagen in our body. So you think of the surface area. It's also responsible, not just for our hair, skin, and our nails, but even some of the tensile strength within our body, in our blood vessels and stuff. So we're going to dive a little bit more into that. Type 2 collagen is what we find in our joints and our ligaments and our cartilages. So for people who are suffering from arthritis, this is generally where we see that breakdown of that cartilage because of that loss of that collagen. So we see more of that type 2 collagen in those joints, ligaments, and cartilages. And this is also, supplementing with a collagen is beneficial for people who do suffer from arthritis, but we see higher amounts of that type 2 collagen in things like bone broth, and more specifically in chicken bone broth, because it's very high in the tendons and chicken cartilage and sternum. That's where they find that type 2 collagen. So a lot of times people ask me, if you suffer from arthritis, what is the best recommendation to help with, slowing down that loss of collagen production, and aid with that cartilage health. And I always recommend collagen and or bone broth on top of it because it is higher in that type 2 collagen. You also will find type 2 collagen in salmon. Some salmon collagen, so that you can take it in capsule forms as well, is very, very high in that type 2 and type 1, but you'll see more of that type 2 in those salmon-derived collagen sources. Type 3 collagen usually is found in the higher percentages in our body alongside type 1 because it's found in our reticular fibers. So think about our muscles, our organs, so our lungs, our kidneys, our liver. We find it inside of our intestinal walls, and we're going to dive into how collagen and bone broth are very beneficial for people who are suffering from digestive disturbances or have things like irritable bowel disease or IBS symptoms. We're going to talk about the healing benefits of collagen and bone broth. As you can see, it is found in our intestinal walls, so very beneficial to keep up that collagen production, as well as our blood vessels and our skin. So very commonly when you look at a collagen product, more specifically bovine, you will see that it says contains type 1 and 3 collagen. And this is where I feel like a lot of people kind of get confused, because they're like, well, what's the difference, and what do, which one do I choose for certain things? These are just the main 3 types of collagen that you hear more commonly when people are talking about the collagens in our body that need, that are responsible for, certain things like our hair, skin, and our nails, and our blood vessels and our organs, that this is where these high amounts are found. So when we jump into the world of collagen supplements, it can be very, very overwhelming. There are over 300 different types of collagen products on the market today. So as I mentioned, many, many years ago, collagen products were becoming, were on the market. And it took a while actually for collagen products to be able to be beneficial in the body. So many years ago, and I want to say at least 10 to 15 years ago, when people were trying to create a stable collagen product, the thing with collagen is it had to be able to be absorbed in the body. So it had to go through a process that we could actually absorb it, because collagen is actually a large molecule. So a lot of people ask me, especially when it comes to skincare, a lot of people will say, I'm using something on top of my skin to increase collagen production. Well, you guys, we actually need to absorb collagen within our body to increase the collagen production. So when you're choosing a collagen product, and we'll discuss this in great detail tonight, it's really important to know that collagen is a larger molecule, and it actually needs to go through a process of hydrolyzation. And this hydrolyzation is actually what breaks this molecule down into a smaller molecule for better bioavailability. So it's really, if you're looking at taking a collagen product, it's come a long way since people, that companies were trying to create a collagen product that we could actually absorb and be beneficial. It had to be tried and tested and go through this hydrolyzation process for our body to actually be beneficial. So we will talk more detail about this, how this process and why it's important. So you guys, our collagen production naturally decreases as we age. So a lot of people will say, well, if we already are taking, our body already naturally, creates its own collagen and produces it, why do we need to take supplementation form? What causes our body to naturally slowly decrease our collagen production? Well, aging. We naturally age. And as we get older, our body will start to slow down that collagen production. So there are various reasons that can speed this up, and we're going to dive into that in a few minutes. But some of the signs that you can see going into these years where our collagen production starts to decrease are things like those fine lines and wrinkles. So we notice that usually around our eyes, maybe in our forehead area. We start to notice those those flaking nails. Maybe we start to notice that we're getting more cellulite. So cellulite is a loss of that elasticity, as well as, having lean muscle mass does play a role. But if we have a loss of elasticity in our skin, we will be more susceptible to noticing that cellulite. Sagging skin. So maybe people are starting to notice, generally people start to notice it's in their face, that they're kind of, their cheeks kind of drop down more, or maybe they notice that through their arm skin. So it loses that elasticity, that tensile strength. We start to notice a loss of moisture in our skin. So that nice dewy complexion that we had all in our 20s seems to kind of go down. Things we can't put on enough moisturizer. We're drinking a lot of water, but we're still noticing that we don't have that nice dewy complexion. We start to notice that we have weaker ligaments. So things are not feeling very strong. Maybe we're more prone to injuries and strains. We're having aching joints, or wondering, is that arthritis, or is there something going on? Maybe some swelling around when we're doing things that are repetitive motions. So a lot of people, I know for myself, what I've started to notice is I'm a runner and a hiker. So I notice that if I haven't been taking my collagen and, if I haven't been having enough rest, that I can actually have achy hips in my knees. So a lot of people start to notice that they're, feeling like things are just not feeling quite right. And that, maybe you've sustained some type of injury as a strained muscle and or ligament or cartilage. So these are some of the signs that we notice that are going on when our collagen production naturally starts to decrease. And the reasons why we need to supplement on top of just, our aging purposes, we naturally are aging, right? So our collagen production will start to go down. And our collagen production actually, when we're in our 20s, that's generally when it starts to decrease naturally. So we'll see things about anywhere between 1 to 5% of our collagen production will start to decrease in our 20s. In our 20s, we will notice that this will go about 25, 35%. And then in our 40s, and unfortunately for women, especially once we hit our menopausal years, our collagen production can actually decrease by up to 45%. So quite a bit of this collagen production can decrease as we get older. And that's generally when we start to notice all of those signs that we saw on that last slide. So we start to notice those fine lines creeping in, a loss of elasticity, our skin will start to shift and change. Maybe our hair will start to thin out. We notice those aches and pains a little bit more. There are various things that can happen throughout our life, that stress, our lifestyle, a lack of nutrients, and certain health conditions that all can speed up the loss of collagen production. Smoking is a huge one as well. So if you are a smoker or you've smoked for a long time, that can rapidly decrease your collagen production. But more so of just not getting enough of those collagen rich foods, not getting enough protein in your diet or vitamin C, being under a lot of stress. A lot of the times, I know for myself, if I'm under a lot of stress, I feel like I've just aged like drastically, when you've had a couple stressful weeks, or maybe, the last year we've been in this pandemic, maybe we feel like we've kind of aged more rapidly this year. Stress definitely plays a role in inflammation and can decrease, our DHEA, which is our anti-aging hormone, which can slow down the collagen production within our body. So various reasons why our collagen production will decrease from natural and lifestyle, stress, lack of nutrient reasons, and why supplementing is so beneficial, and why you don't have to wait until you're in your 40s to, take a collagen product. I always like to say it's better to be proactive. And people ask me all the time, when should I start taking a collagen product? What age should I be, focusing on my collagen production? And I always tell people, if you're not noticing the fine lines and the wrinkles now, and then that's what you want to take a collagen product for, is your skin health, start taking it now. Collagen is very, outside of it just having, good for our hair, skin, and nails, it's an excellent source of protein. So one serving is 9 grams of protein. So it's a very, very easy way to get protein in your diet without side of having to drink protein shakes or making sure you're eating. So we will talk about various ways to incorporate this in your daily life, but collagen has always been my number one favorite thing to put in my water bottle. I actually put it in my kids' water bottles for lunch. It's a great way just to get in that added protein, because protein is a building block to our body. So if we're not getting enough protein, we're not having that cell regeneration, we can have a loss of our lean muscle mass. There's so many things that are associated with getting enough protein, and collagen is an excellent source of that. So really important to, supplement the collagen at any age. So in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, and even people will say, I already have arthritis, I'm in pain, collagen doesn't reverse the signs of aging. So it's not going to, when you start taking collagen, it's not going to erase those fine lines and those wrinkles. It might diminish the really, really fine ones that are coming. But if you already have, those natural, fine lines and wrinkles, it will slow down the aging process. But, that doesn't mean you don't need to start, you won't get the benefits of taking collagen if you're in your 60s or your 70s. And I have found, working with clients and talking to people who have incorporated bone broth and collagen in their daily diet, if they suffer from arthritis, that they find that it actually helps relieve a lot of the achiness and the pain. And it actually helps put that that synovial fluid back in the joints. So it does relieve a lot of that. So it is, you can take it at any stage in the game. And like I said, I always like to be a little bit more proactive. So if you're looking to kind of start your anti-aging regime, definitely get on the collagen train. If it's something that you just are getting into now, any age is great. So there's different types of collagens, you guys. There's so many, but the main ones that we hear when we're talking about collagen is whether it's marine collagen and or bovine. And we did talk a little bit about that salmon collagen. So overwhelming, I get tons of questions. Which one is better? Which one should I take? So to kind of reverse it a little bit, when collagen first came out on the market many years ago, marine collagen was what it was sourced from. So marine collagen was called the fountain of youth. Okay. This is the beauty secret of the stars, taking collagen and reversing the times of, the signs of aging, and again, being proactive in your skin health. And that's because marine collagen is very, very high in that type 1 collagen. So remember what I said, type 1 collagen is everything that you find on the exterior of our body. So our hair, skin, and nails. So marine collagen is also, it's the closest to our own collagen structure, amino structure profile. It's sourced from the scales of the scales of fish. It's also the most bioavailable form. So remember when I was talking about how collagen is a large molecule and it has to go through that process of hydrolyzation so it can be broken down so that our body can absorb it, right? Through foods or supplementation, we absorb it through our bloodstream. So marine collagen is already a smaller molecule. Marine collagens also go through a hydrolyzation process, but it is the most bioavailable form, meaning that our body will absorb it at a faster rate. So a lot of the times people will choose a marine collagen because the body will absorb it faster, and it's into our bloodstream, easier to absorb. And sometimes people even find that they see the benefits of it when they're very consistent. So we're going to talk about how to get into a collagen routine and how to see results. Very consistent with their collagen, routine, that they will see the results a bit faster versus bovine. Now, that doesn't mean one is better than the other, but there's different components to it. So marine, like I said, is the most closest to our collagen profile. It's a smaller molecule already, but it still goes through that hydrolyzation process, and it is more bioavailable. You also might notice that marine collagen is at a little bit higher of a price point when you're looking at collagen products. And that's also just because of the sustainability of it and the sourcing. So it's really important when we're talking about sustainability and the sourcing when you're choosing your collagen product. One big thing and I'm going to talk about it, but it's really important you're choosing a marine collagen that it's sourced from sustainably caught and sourced, but it also should not have a taste. So we'll dive into that a little bit. I won't jump too far ahead, but that is one of the main things when you're choosing a marine collagen. Next is bovine collagen. So bovine collagen is what kind of came on the market and has substantially grown as an excellent collagen product. It's very, very high in that type 1 and that type 3 collagen. So hair, skin, and nails, as well as it's great for our reticular fibers, our organs, our lungs, and our intestinal walls. It's very high in that type 1 and 3. So it's sourced from bovines, so from cows and from the hides of the cows. So they source it from the hides of the cows because, again, very high in that type 1 collagen. It's also, it's just as beneficial as marine collagen when I'm talking about hair, skin, and nails, but it is a little bit larger in a molecule. It still goes through that hydrolyzation process, you guys. But if I was to do, if I had 2 glasses of water here right now, I should have done this actually, 2 glasses of water and shown you on the screen. When you put marine collagen one glass with the water and bovine in the other, you will notice that the marine collagen will dissolve a bit faster than the bovine. So it just has a little bit more have that gelatin in it, but they both give you the same benefits. Okay, so they both have that amino structure profile, so they have the exact same amino structure profile. So they both contain those 3 amino acids that I said are the building blocks to collagen production, so glycine, proline, and hydroxyproline. So these are the 3 amino acids that you find in the amino acid profile of collagen that are beneficial for the collagen production in our body. So hydroxyproline is the 1 amino acid. So glycine is actually the highest amino acid in the amino acid profile. We'll talk a little bit more about the benefits of glycine, but hydroxyproline is the amino acid that we find in collagen amino acid profiles that's responsible for collagen production in our body. So hydroxyproline is what increases our collagen production by up to 50%. So if you are taking a collagen product, you are actually getting that extra hydroxyproline in that supplement, and that is what is naturally increasing your collagen production in your body. Because a lot of times people will say, how does taking a collagen product help increase my collagen production? It's those amino acids that we find in there. So we absorb those amino acids into our body and we naturally increase our collagen production because of that hydroxyproline, which is what you find in a collagen product outside of just kind of eating a diet really rich in protein, if that makes sense. So bovine and marine collagen, very similar benefits. One is just a smaller molecule and more bioavailable, which you find in marine. And then bovine, again, high in that type 1 and type 3, but both give us that benefit for hair, skin, and nails, and our joints, ligaments, and cartilages. Salmon collagen, you normally find this in capsules. I do know that Organica has a salmon collagen that is high in type 1 collagen. It should say on the screen there, also high in type 2 collagen. Very good for people who do suffer from arthritis. I find that a lot of people will take a salmon collagen, more specific when it comes to their arthritis and their cartilage, without knowing the benefits of bone broth on top of this, and or even taking a marine collagen. So a lot of times salmon collagen was out for a long time and toted more towards people with arthritis, but you can use a marine and bovine collagen to help with arthritis and cartilage breakdown on top of using a bone broth. So all great. So when you're choosing a collagen product, which can be very, very overwhelming, it's really important to look for specific things because there are so many out there. These are the main things that I tell people when they're choosing it. So number 1, because we've talked about what the molecule of collagen is, so it's a larger molecule, and it's hard to absorb into our body, so it has to be broken down through that hydrolyzation process. So it's an enzymatic process to break that collagen down. So hydrolyzation. So making sure that you choose a collagen product that is 100% hydrolyzed. A lot of times people will say on the bottle, it'll say 100% hydrolyzed collagen or a collagen peptide. You guys, it's the same thing. So the collagen needs to be broken down. So it has to go through that process. So if it says a peptide and or it's 100% hydrolyzed, that's the collagen that you want to take. This makes it more bioavailable. So you don't want to be spending all this money on a collagen product that your body's not even going to absorb. And people, like I said, will spend hundreds to thousands of dollars on skincare products that say that they're going to naturally increase the collagen production in our skin. You guys, to increase the collagen production, we actually need to take a collagen product that contains those amino acids that I talked about, more specifically hydroxyproline, to naturally increase our collagen production within our body. So we're not going to be getting that through a collagen boosting product through our skin. You actually need to take a collagen product or drink something like bone broth that contains those amino acids for our collagen production to be increased naturally through it. It needs to be odorless and flavorless. So more specifically, when we're talking about marine. So a lot of people have said to me, I've taken marine collagen before. I don't like the taste. It tastes fishy. You guys, that is not a good marine collagen. That is not a good collagen product. The product that you're taking should be odorless and flavorless. And a lot of this is through the sourcing of the fish, as well as the process of it breaking down for hydrolyzation. So A lot of the times during the hydrolyzation process, it'll actually be put through a carbon filtration system. This actually removes any taste, but a good product will naturally not have any of that smell, like an odor, fishy taste, or odor. So making sure that there's no weird taste. It is also making sure that it's heat stable. So that hydrolyzation process is really important when it comes to taking a collagen product, but it also it doesn't denature. So a lot of the times people, and I'm going to use this as an example, if you want, so you can bake with collagen, so you can add collagen into your cookies or, cakes, things like that. I've done that many times. It's gone through that hydrolyzation process, so it's actually stable. It doesn't denature. Sometimes people will try to use things like protein powders and things like that. That actually can denature and you're not getting the benefits and or getting enough of that protein. So I wouldn't recommend baking with protein powders and things, but something like collagen you definitely can, because it's gone through that hydrolyzation process and it is actually heat stable. A good collagen should mix and blend well, more specifically when we're talking about marine collagen. So like I said, it's already a smaller molecule, it's more bioavailable, so it should just go, when you put the collagen product in your glass, you put the water, it should just mix. You may notice, and lots of people have said this, sometimes when you're using a bovine collagen, if you pour a glass of water and you put the collagen on top, sometimes it can clump a little bit on top. That's just because you're putting on top of the water. I always recommend put your collagen in first and then put the water and stir it. Like I said, the bovine dissolves slower than the marine would, but you shouldn't have, you shouldn't have any cloudy water or anything like that. More specifically with marine, it should dissolve right away. And that's a good sign that you're using a good quality product. Sourcing is very, very important. Like the foods that we choose to put in our body and the supplements that we use, the sourcing is very important. You need to make sure it's sustainable. Okay, so grass-fed, pasture-raised, definitely when you're talking about using a bovine collagen. So free of growth hormones and antibiotics. You want to make sure there's no heavy metals and or toxins. And if you're using a marine collagen, you want to make sure it's wild caught. You do not want farmed fish. Collagen derived from the scales of farmed fish. There's antibiotics. It's a very, very, their fish farms are filthy. There's a lot of, bacteria in there. You definitely don't want to be using a collagen product for your overall health when it is farmed and, pumped full of antibiotics. So make sure it is wild caught, it's sustainable, no farm, and make sure that the company that you choose for your collagen product has certifications. So there's various certifications out there, but make sure that there's good manufacturing practices and that there's third-party testing. So I do know that Organica does very thorough testing on all of their products. Third-party testing in the sense of like they test every single batch of the products that they create, not just the first batch, but every batch that they create. They do testing in their manufacturing, and then they send it to a third-party testing facility to ensure that the information that was put through is correct and to hold it to its highest standards. So make sure that the company that you choose for the products that you use do have those certifications and the third-party testing on all of their products. So marine collagen, you guys, as I mentioned, it's really good for our hair, skin, and nails. Organica's marine collagen is Canadian source. So again, when I talked about what you're looking for sourcing, it's made from the scales of cod, pollock, and haddock. So it's wildly caught in the North Atlantic. It is 100% hydrolyzed. So it's flavorless and it's odorless. So it's, again, an excellent source of protein. So if you're having a hard time getting protein in your diet, I recommend people to use collagen. Also very great. We're going to discuss the various benefits and health in a few slides here. But like I said, I do give it to my kids in their water bottles. I do see some questions here that are going on. Will it break your fast when fasting? It depends. I used to actually have it in my water when I did intermittent fasting, but everybody's, it used to hold me over because it is protein, right? So it would kind of give me that feeling of satiety, but you definitely can. So collagen, this is the marine collagen. 2 tablespoons, I believe, of the marine collagen is it's 9 grams per 1 serving. So 2 tablespoons is generally what I recommend. So very, very high in that type 1. This is the bovine collagen. So this collagen has been the #1 selling collagen powder in Canada for over 50, well, it says for 52 weeks. Even when I was working with Organica as their education trainer, this collagen has been the number one selling collagen, I want to say, for 3 to 4 years. And a majority of the people that I talk to use this collagen. It's 100% hydrolyzed. Okay. It's sourced from bovines. So from the hides of the cows, grass-fed and pasture raised. Okay, so hormone and antibiotic free. It's gone through various testing. Again, so I mentioned, so good manufacturer testing as well, third-party testing. There's no heavy metals and or toxins. It's flavorless and odorless. It's very, very high in that type 1 and that type 3 collagen. It's non-GMO, and it actually mixes very, very well. So I have used other bovine collagens just to try various things out. And I have noticed that some just don't mix as well, and some don't have, or some do have a bit of a taste. So Organica's enhanced collagen actually goes through a carbon filtration system as well, but it does mix very, very well. So in your water, and you can use it, hot or cold. So I do see some comments here, and I've been asked this a lot of times. So when you're using a bovine collagen, it's really important. I recommend whether you're doing it with hot liquids and or cold liquids, because it is a bit thicker than marine, to put your collagen in the cup first and then pour your water in there and mix it. And I find sometimes if the water, so if you have actually, like if you take a glass of water and there's a little bit of water in there already, that's when you put the powder in the collagen, it might even automatically bulk up. So make sure your glass is dry. But I always find if you put the collagen in first and then put your water in and mix it, that mixes easier. And sometimes that even happens with marine collagen, but it's just because it is a bit of a thicker consistency, or the larger molecule, right? Still goes through that hydrolyzation process, but marine seems to mix faster. If you're putting it in things like your coffee or a hot liquid, again, put the collagen in first and then pour your coffee in. Or if you have, sometimes people will have a latte, like a frother, that will blend it all up. But sometimes it's just that initial, when it hits the water on top, it will start to bulk if you don't mix it right away. But that doesn't mean that it's not a good product. It's just because bovine is a little bit thicker and dissolves slower than it would with marine. So great questions here, you guys. Yes, you can put it in your smoothies. Great way you can use it. Smoothies, coffee, in your water. There's lots of ways that you can do it through baking and things like that. I definitely will make sure to answer these questions and how you can use it in a few slides here, you guys. So bone broth. So we've talked about marine collagen. We've talked about bovine. So bone broth. So bone broth is probably one of my secret staples in my house, especially more so during the winter months. There's something about having a cup of bone broth that gives you like this healing, comfort feeling. There's so many benefits to bone broth. I know many of us grew up having our parents or our moms make a stock, a pot of chicken noodle soup. It kind of warms you from the soul. There's a lot of benefits when it comes to drinking bone broth. If you make bone broth at home, then it is quite the process. To make a bone broth that is filled with all of the nutrients that you get out of it, it is a minimum of 24 to 48 hours of simmering. The beautiful thing about Organica's bone broth, and I was super excited when they first launched this because they were the first company in Canada to launch a powdered bone broth, is that you can just take it. You can make a cup of bone broth instantly with just hot water and 2 scoops of bone broth, which is great because bone broth doesn't last when you make it at home. You have to freeze it. But there's so many healing benefits to bone broth. So number one, it is created by simmering the bones. So it's that simmering process that extracts the nutrients out of the bones and the marrow and the cartilages and all the ligaments of the animals, more specifically chicken and or beef, that you can find bone broth. It's those nutrients that we get, things like collagen and certain minerals, as well as something called glycoaminoglycans. So you can see here on the screen that you see the word GAGs. This is a short way that you can remember this, but this is what sets bone broth apart from collagen. So a lot of times people are like, well, bone broth naturally contains collagen because it's through that extraction process that you get the collagen benefits. But it's the glycoaminoglycans that we find in bone broth that set it apart. And the glycoaminoglycans are chondroitin, hyaluronic acid, and glucosamine. So these three are responsible for, the cushioning, so the synovial fluid, so hyaluronic acid, so creating that synovial fluid around our joints, that nice cushioning in our cartilages, that strength, that overall health of our joints. Okay, so a lot of times when people, are suffering from things like arthritis or achy joints or even injuries, sipping on bone broth, these three, chondroitin, hyaluronic acid, and glucosamine, really can be beneficial. And also really beneficial if you're noticing that moisture loss in, your skin, or the aging effects. Drinking bone broth can give you that high amount of collagen, as well as that hyaluronic acid, glucosamine, and chondroitin. So that's what the difference is between collagen and bone broth. Both are very, very beneficial. They work excellent together. Bone broth is very easy to incorporate. So you can drink it as a hot, kind of like, I don't want to say cup of tea, but the same idea. So you can put it in, some hot water and sip that. It's very comforting. It's very good if you have some digestive disturbances. It has that amino acid profile similar to collagen with those healing amino acids. So glycine is an amazing amino acid to help heal and seal the intestinal wall. And I find if you are a person that suffers from digestive disorders or disturbances, things like IBS, or things like Crohn's and or colitis, bone broth can be very beneficial in helping seal and heal the intestinal wall. So if you're a person that has chronic constipation and or, diarrhea, if you have, Crohn's or colitis, things like that, bone broth will actually help seal that intestinal wall, those junctions, which are called enterocytes. So if we have a compromised digestive tract or digestive disturbances, what's happening in our body is we have a plethora of inflammation. And when we have a lot of inflammation, what ends up happening is those tight junctions within our intestinal walls start to open up. And that's where we get something what is known as gut dysbiosis and or leaky gut. And what happens is undigested food particles, bacteria, and toxins will leak through those open enterocytes and go into our bloodstream. And that's where we see a plethora of inflammation and inflammatory responses in our body. We may start to notice we have skin conditions, so things like eczema, psoriasis. We may notice that we have more acne. We may start to have, migraines, food sensitivities, all sorts of things. And so when people are kind of, going through this, I always recommend bone broth in the healing protocol because of that high amount of that glycine and proline. So glycine and proline work together, as well as lysine, to help heal and seal the intestinal wall. And you do find that as well in collagen. I find if you're very, very sensitive, your stomach is very, very sensitive, and you have a hard time incorporating things, people will ask. I always recommend kind of starting yourself on a bone broth routine. So starting with a tablespoon of bone broth in some liquid hot water, drinking that every day, slowly increasing it up to 2 tablespoons. And then over time, if you're noticing that your digestive tract is okay, you're not having any, issues with that, because sometimes people just have a very sensitive digestive tract. So you have to incorporate new things very slowly. And then I usually will say, you can try collagen. Both are very beneficial. It just really depends on what's going on in your body, and you know your body best. So I do recommend both, but there are so many great benefits of bone broth, just even, not even for just the collagen that we get out of it, but the nutrients and those glycosaminoglycans. So a lot of times people are like, should I use the collagen and or bone broth? Both. I say whatever fits your daily regime. They complement each other very, very well. Bone broth is great. You don't even have to drink it in a liquid form. I use bone broth in all sorts of my cooking. So if you're wanting to, let's say, make a stir fry, or you want to incorporate it into different kinds of soups. So one of my favorite soups that I actually make still today, I actually use the chicken turmeric bone broth with Organica. I make an heirloom tomato soup. So I use that as my base. So I roast my tomatoes, and then I do the turmeric chicken bone broth. I mix that in my hot water with my tomatoes, and I blend it all up. So it's got a nice little kick to it. So you can use it in your soups. You can put it in pasta sauce. It's very high in protein as well. So if you have fussy eaters at home, children like I do, this is a great way you can sneak it in there. So whether it's collagen and or bone broth, you're definitely getting those nutrients in there, and you're getting that protein. So they both work very well, and you can use them in various, recipes, or, you can put, I would recommend using collagen more in your smoothie than just bone broth. But bone broth I use in all sorts of my cooking recipes. But collagen, yes, you can put in your smoothies, you can bake with it. You can put in your coffee or water, you can mix it in all sorts of things, right? Because it's flavorless and odorless and it does not denature. So both have amazing benefits. It's great for immunity as well. Okay, so when we are going, if we are not feeling well, and especially keeping up our immunity because of the amino acid profile and because of the healing benefits for our digestive tract. 80% of our immune system resides in our digestive tract. So if you have a compromised digestive tract or digestive disturbances and things going on, you're definitely going to have a compromised immune system. So bone broth and or collagen are very beneficial for that. So we've talked about the various types of collagen, you guys. So here are the benefits of it. So we've talked a lot about the aging process and things we're on joint. So a lot of different things you see here on the screen. So number one, skin health. So we know that. So we've talked about anti-aging. It increases the moisture in our body. It reduces the signs of aging, so we can be proactive with our, our aging. We can start it as, in our 20s or 30s or 40s, or if we want to slow down the signs of aging, we can incorporate to keep up our collagen production because we know it reduces more so quite drastically once we hit our 40s. It improves the tone and texture of our skin. So not only does it improve the elasticity, the tone and structure of our skin, but it also will lead or aids in lean muscle mass. So again, very important as we get older, more so for ladies, as we hit our menopausal years, our lean muscle mass, we need to make sure that we have a good amount of lean muscle mass, because the more lean muscle mass that we have, it helps with our metabolism, it helps with burning more fat, but it also protects our skeletal system. So we want to make sure that we're getting enough protein daily and we have a good amount of lean muscle mass. And it's very hard today, I find, that people getting enough protein. So if you find that you are having a hard time getting your 3 meals of protein, at least 20 to 24 grams of protein per serving, incorporating something like collagen just to put in your water or your coffee, or just throwing a couple extra scoops in your smoothie every day is a great way to help with your lean muscle mass and to keep, to build up the protein in your body. Our gut health. So very, very important. This is one of my favorite things about collagen and bone broth. So I kind of already talked about digestive disturbances, irritable bowel syndrome, diseases, Crohn's, and colitis. Those amino acids that I talked about, so glycine, proline, and lysine, help heal and seal that intestinal wall. Okay, so there's a lot of things that come with helping our digestive health and going through the healing protocol of our digestive tract. First off, when we're going down the road of healing our digestive tract, it does take a long time. So patience is very, very important. But one of the things that I always tell people when I'm working with them about healing their digestive tract is incorporating something like collagen and or bone broth, or the both of them, because those enterocytes open up and there's a lot of inflammation. And when we have a lot of inflammation within our digestive tract, everything is very angry. So not only when you're talking about healing the digestive tract, we want to remove inflammatory foods. We want to reduce our stress. We want to reduce our caffeine consumption, our alcohol, reduce things like sugar. And we want to incorporate foods that are going to provide, healing benefits, be able to absorb the nutrients from it. We want to have a good balance between that healthy and bad bacteria that can be completely out. So there's a lot of things that go on in our digestive tract. So incorporating something like a collagen product and or bone broth and even gelatin can help seal and heal the intestinal wall. So, and you could use both of them. It improves our digestion. So a lot of the times when people are suffering from, digestive disturbances, they have constipation and or diarrhea, they're not absorbing the nutrients from the foods that they're eating, or they have slow transit times. Something like taking bone broth or collagen will help with that. And even if you have a hard time, so a lot of times when people have Crohn's and colitis, there's a lot of foods that they cannot eat because it causes inflammation. So bone broth would be very beneficial because you're getting a lot of those minerals and the nutrients from that because it's absorbed through the intestinal walls because it's in liquid formation. It's a great source of protein. It's very easily digestible. So a lot of foods, we need those enzymes to break down. If you're a person that suffers from, digestive issues, even if you have things like you have to take digestive enzymes and things like that, sometimes just doing bone broth is easier to digest. And I've actually even offered, when I'm working with people when they have digestive, issues, we've actually even done 24 hours of just drinking bone broth because it isn't high in those nutrients. It gives your digestive tract a chance to take a break, but you're still getting that protein, you're still getting those nutrients that's needed. So it definitely can be beneficial. If you are interested in doing a fast or something, I do encourage you to do it with a nutritionist, but there's a lot of healing benefits that can come from just doing like a 24-hour bone broth fast. So very, very important for our gut health. 80% of our immune system resides in there. We also, our serotonin is created in our digestive tract. So if you are low in your serotonin level, so that's our feel-good hormone, we notice that our moods have been off, depression, that's attached to that vagus nerve. So a lot of, if we're not creating enough serotonin, we're going to have lower moods. So if we have digestive issues, disorders, IBS, IBD, we're definitely going to be lower in that serotonin. So there's a lot that's connected through that vagus nerve. So gut health is very, very important, you guys. If you don't have a good functioning digestive tract, you're not going to be absorbing all the foods and those nutrients that you get from the foods that you're eating. You're not going to be feeling very energetic. You're going to have an imbalance in your hormones, both men and women. You may be noticing that you have higher amounts of stress. There's a lot that happens in our digestive tract. So it's very, very important to have good, healthy digestive tract and functioning. So if you don't go to the washroom every day, there's definitely something that you need to look at, especially too, if you're wanting to, take supplements and collagen products and your digestive tract is out of whack, you got to look at that. Okay. Our overall health. So it improves our immunity and improves our mood. So we talked about that through our digestive tract. It helps stabilize blood sugar levels. So if you're a person that is on the go, you're not eating, every 3 hours, you're riding that, I always say you're riding that, blood sugar train. So you're you eat something and then you go long periods and you get hangry. Collagen and bone broth definitely will help stabilize those blood sugars. So you're not going to have those hangry moments. Great to just have in the car and have it in your water. But if you're somebody who also, suffers from imbalanced blood sugars, collagen and bone broth will help stabilize that because it's naturally high in protein. Okay. So great way to get that in. It reduces inflammation. So inflammation in our joints. So I saw that some people here are suffering from rheumatoid arthritis. So that's inflammation in our joints, a type of arthritis. It can be very, very painful. We have a lot of redness. That's inflammation. So there's osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis. That is definitely from a breakdown of our cartilage, from a loss of collagen and an inflammatory response in our body. So collagen and bone broth will help reduce that inflammation in our body. It slows down the breakdown of our cartilage. It also improves our bone health. Okay. So we also want to make sure that, if we're eating calcium rich foods, we need to make sure, especially if we get into our 40s, that we're getting enough vitamin D3, that we're getting magnesium and calcium so that we aren't at a risk for osteoporosis. If we have a compromised digestive tract, we're not going to be absorbing those essential vitamins and minerals in the foods that we're eating and even the supplements that we're taking. So we want to have, a good functioning digestive tract. We're absorbing those nutrients, that we have reduced inflammation. So overall, not just our hair, skin, and our nails is collagen great for, but it helps promote healthy digestion. It helps heal and seal the intestinal wall. It helps with our joint health. It helps with our overall health and immunity. So many, many benefits, but a lot of times people don't realize how essential collagen and bone broth are for our digestive tract. And it's probably one of my number one supplements that I recommend to people when we're doing a digestive healing protocol is incorporating, something like bone broth and or collagen or the both. So a couple questions, you guys, here that I'm going to go through before I answer all of your questions, because we're almost at 5 o'clock here. So here's some top questions that I get asked a lot when it comes to it. So do I need to take vitamin C alongside my collagen? So one of the we need enough vitamin C in our diets for collagen production. So if you're not eating a diet rich in vitamin C and or taking a vitamin C product, then I definitely recommend it, because vitamin C is essential for the production of collagen in our body. So a lot of times people say you need to take vitamin C for our body to absorb collagen. That's actually incorrect. You need to make sure that you're getting enough vitamin C in your diet and or through supplementation for that to aid in that collagen production. So when you're taking a collagen supplement, you're getting that hydroxyproline through the amino acid profile that's going to naturally increase that collagen production in your body. But you also need to make sure that you are getting enough vitamin C in your diet for collagen production. It's also great for immunity, cell regeneration, so many benefits of it. So I do know that that Organica does have a marine collagen tablet. Actually, I have it here. They're Effervesce. It's their marine collagen that does have vitamin C in it as well. Or you can just take one of their vitamin C's to incorporate daily, because it is hard to get enough vitamin C daily to keep up with our collagen production. Can you take both collagen and or bone broth? Absolutely. So you've heard me talk probably for the last 15-20 minutes about how beneficial it can be to be using both. If you're new to the supplement game, if you're new to taking this, earlier I asked how many people are taking a collagen product, how many people know the difference between bovine and marine, and we talked about like some people have collagen at home in their pantries, but they haven't started using it. So if you're new to the game of taking collagen, don't overwhelm yourself. I say this to everybody. So start with what you can incorporate daily. So if you're already taking a collagen product, awesome. If you want to try something new, you can add in the bone broth as well. Or if you're more, bone broth sounds more, easy for you to drink, if you're somebody who likes to have a cup of tea or want to have the soothing benefits, you can start there. Or you can do both of them. So both are beneficial. The difference between bone broth and or collagen is that bone broth contains those glycosaminoglycans. So, okay, so just think of GAGs, okay? So that chondroitin, the hyaluronic acid, and the glucosamine. So very, very great for our joints, very, very well, works well for our joints. But also it helps with that synovial fluid and adding more moisture into our skin. Same benefits with that amino acid profile. So great if you can even you want to use it in your cooking to add extra flavor. You want to stay away from packaged flavorings and things like that. Like I said, you can put it in your spaghetti sauce. You can try it in your stir fries. You can make soups with it. You don't have to buy that chicken broth on the shelf. So you can make your own when you're using bone broth, and you're not getting that high amount of sodium that you find in the store-bought stuff. You can just make it, put a few scoops in some hot water, and you're getting way more nutrients and benefits using a powdered bone broth than you would with that chicken stock that you would find on the shelf for sure. And collagen, right? So collagen, we know you're going to get that type 1 and type 3 collagen through either marine and or bovine, and the benefits from it. Can you get collagen through food sources? So the only way that you can get collagen through the foods that you eat are if you make your own acids, but you're not getting it the same way that you would if with supplementation form. If you're eating diet rich in vitamin C if you're eating a diet high in vitamin C or taking a vitamin C product, that will naturally help, increase your collagen production in your body, because you need enough of that to increase your collagen production. But you would actually have to take a collagen supplement and or something like bone broth to be the only way through a food sourcing outside of a collagen supplement to get that collagen. How often should you take it? So great question. Lots of times people think if I take more, the effects will be more. So I'll take a whole bunch at once. I don't recommend that. So ideally, what I say is at least 2 tablespoons a day. So you guys, it's very important to be consistent. Okay. So if you take 2 tablespoons a day here and a day there, and then all of a sudden you're kind of like, okay, well, I don't see the benefits. You need to be consistent with your routine, your regime, right? So 2 tablespoons is all you really need. If you're taking more than that, your body can only absorb a certain amount before you're kind of it will just excrete it out. So you can't overdose on collagen, but you're basically kind of wasting it if you're taking too much. So don't put 6 scoops in your water bottle thinking you're going to get the benefits of it. Stick with 2 tablespoons. If you want to incorporate more throughout your day, that's fine. But at a serving, 2 tablespoons is all that you need. One of the questions I saw here that I'm going to answer. So a lot of times people are, asking, is it better to take it in powder form in collagen and or capsules? You guys, Organica's bone broth, or sorry, Organica's collagen is 2 tablespoons, it's over 15 grams of protein. Okay. So you only have to you can take 1 tablespoon or 2 tablespoons. It's easy. If you're looking to get the exact amount of collagen and or protein, you're looking at taking something between 4 to 6 capsules of the various kinds of collagen that are on the market. That's a lot of pills to take to get the same thing, where you could take something like a powdered, like Organica's marine and or its bovine collagen for the benefits, and you're absorbing, you're getting it in at a faster rate in the powder formation, right? So I always say powder is best. It's easier to use too. You can incorporate in so many other things. You can, like I said, you can put it in your coffee, you can put it in your smoothie, you can put it in your water, you can bake with it, you can use it for a variety of things. If you're choosing something like supplements and or like the capsule formation, you're really just stuck with having to take that. And pill fatigue is real. So if you're taking other, supplements and things throughout the day, taking 6 of these every day can be, it's going to be fatiguing. So I always recommend kind of doing the powder. It fits more into your life. You have a variety of ways you can do it. So yeah, I would do it over powder, over a pill. Is collagen safe for all ages? So I've seen a lot of people asking about my kids. Collagen it's a source of protein with the amino acid profile. Like I said, I would do 1 tablespoon in my daughter's waters with their probiotics. That's what I used to pop in there for school, just to get added protein because they're picky eaters and I know they don't eat enough protein. So I would just put a scoop in there. If you're pregnant and or breastfeeding, I always tell people, follow with your healthcare practitioner first. It is safe, it is a product, but you definitely need to, before you start any supplements or regime, always talk with your healthcare practitioner before starting anything. But I've been giving my kids collagen in their water for many years. They're going to thank me later with their beautiful, young, dewy skin forever because they're being proactive. But it is basically my way of making sure that I'm getting in more protein in their diets, for sure. Is there a plant-based collagen? So get asked this one all the time. So collagen is derived from the scales of skin and or the hides of cows. Some collagen will be from the hooves of cows, and even there are porcine collagen out there through the hooves. It is through that extraction, that boiling it down, kind of the same thing. If you're making bone broth, you're boiling down the marrow and the bones to get those nutrients and that collagen out. When it comes to plant-based protein, it's through there's various parts of the plant that actually naturally increase collagen production within their body. So I know Organica does have a plant-based collagen booster, but that's through things like, high amounts of vitamin C and certain plants and nutrients that will naturally increase collagen production within our body, but it's not sourced from an animal. So there are vegan and plant-based boosters that you can take that add, the vitamins and minerals that we need to naturally increase our collagen production, but there isn't a plant-based collagen out there because collagen is extracted from an animal source. But there are things that you can take like horsetail, silica, those things will naturally help increase collagen production within the body. So I'm going to leave it there for you guys to answer questions because I've seen so many questions on here already. So I'm going to have a quick look through some of these questions. There was one of the questions I was asking about, is there a sale on the collagens with Healthy Planet? And yes, Organica, I believe they're 20% off starting tomorrow for the next 3 days on collagen products. So if you wanted to dive into trying the marine collagen or the bovine or even the bone broth, now's your time to go and get it for 20% off. I have been using Organica's enhanced collagen probably for about 4 years. I always get asked, do you use bovine or marine? I alternate between them. So right now I'm actually using marine collagen. I did bovine for the first few years, and then I kind of jumped on the marine collagen. So I kind of go back and forth. I really think it's up to you, what the benefits that you're looking for, and how it fits in. There's no right or wrong. I think both are fantastic. Like I said, marine collagen is more of, a smaller molecule, more bioavailable. but also bovine is just as beneficial. So you know what, it's really just your preference. But like I said, there's not one that is better than the other. You may find that there's a little bit more in the price point, but that again is just through the sourcing. And like I said, I do bone broth. My favorite bone broth is the chicken turmeric. Lots of times people ask me, what's the difference between beef and chicken? So chicken is naturally, the chicken bone broth is very high in that type 2 collagen, where the beef bone broth, you'll notice, is very high in that type 1. So it doesn't have as much as that type 2 collagen, and it has a little bit of a different taste to it. I prefer the chicken, like I said, the chicken turmeric, but both are very beneficial. And you will find that there is actually a little bit more protein in the beef bone broth than there is with the chicken, but both naturally have collagen. So I'm going to jump on here to answer some of these questions. And I thank you guys. I'm going to actually not stop sharing my screen. So I'm going to come back on so you guys can see me here. Hang on a second here. Stop share. There we are all. Okay, there you guys are. So I want to say thank you to those who are signing off, but I'll answer the questions now. So thank you for joining me all in tonight. And I'm just going to go through some of these questions here quickly. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. So I'm going to start. So a lot of this, so full spectrum collagen, organic, type 1, 2, and 3. So this is great. So you did probably see that I had it on the slide. So spectrum 1, 2, and 3. That gives you the best of both worlds, you guys. So it has that type 1, type 2, and type 3 collagen. Sometimes those will take, if you're looking to incorporate, if you're looking to incorporate both products, this might be a nice alternative for you, that not taking bone broth and or collagen, but this might be a nice alternative to get all three of the benefits. So great for both your hair, skin, and nails and your joints. Or you can do the bone broth and the collagen, but that type 1, 2, and 3, it's kind of like, it's an all-in-one, which I think is great. Pretty much for convenience only. And I saw somebody here. How does Organica's powder compare to homemade bone broth? Okay, so Organica creates their bone broth the same way we would at home. Okay, so I do see a lot of people, when I make bone broth at home, and I haven't made it ever since Organica came out with a powdered bone broth, because first off, to get the nutrients that you need fully, to extract all those things, those glycosaminoglycans, all of the collagen and the nutrients out of bone broth, you should be simmering those bones for a minimum of 24 hours at a very slow simmer, okay? A lot of times people will create bone broth at home, just quickly put it in a chicken carcass, they'll boil it for about 2 to 3 hours and then use it. You're actually not getting the benefits from it. You actually need to go through that slow simmering process for a minimum of 24 to 48 hours to get those nutrients out, which can, you guys, make your house smell a little funny. That's what it's been told in my house when I've been making bone broth. My husband's come home and been like, what is that smell? What is going on? I don't smell it because I think it's, I like to cook, but it can be inconvenient to do. Organica's bone broth goes through that slow simmering process to extract the maximum amount of nutrients. So back in the beginning of the webinar, I talked how important it is to make sure that you use something from a company that does the third-party testing and testing. So like I said, every batch of bone broth that Organica does, they do testing in the facility, as well as they send it to a third-party facility to make sure that it is at its full sourcing. So highest amount of protein, highest amount of collagen, and that it has those amino acid profiles. And they actually even compare the amino acid profile every single time to that percentage of how much of those amino acids are in there. So they ensure that there's a standard that it's reaching every single time. So when it comes to choosing something like a powdered or the store-bought, the thing with the store-bought or even making it at home is that once it's in the liquid formation, it doesn't last very long. So you spend all this time making bone broth at home, and then you either have to freeze it and use it right away. The thing about using a powdered bone broth is you use as needed. So if you only want to just make a cup of it to sip on, or just like a batch, you want to make soup, then you can use the powder and make it as needed. You're not wasting all that time in that precious bone broth that you've made, having to use it within 2 to 3 days within the fridge. So I prefer to use the powder because depending on what I'm using it for, I want to make sure that obviously I'm not wasting it if I haven't used it all. So definitely I would recommend a powder one. It's much more convenient. There's lots more. So 2 tablespoons a day is what I kind of recommend. You could do 1 tablespoon. It's all about consistency, you guys. Like I said, more is not better. So just start with 1 to 2 tablespoons, but make sure you're taking it every single day. And generally, I find when people are consistent with their regime, generally you'll start to notice that your skin looks a little bit more, moisturized. You may start to notice things look a little bit more, it not doesn't look tighter, but just looks more refreshed. You may start to notice the aches and pains and things in your joints will start to disappear within about 3 to 4 weeks. Okay, so consistency is key. It's not so much about how much you're taking every single day. You should notice results in like 3 to 4 weeks with 1 to 2 tablespoons a day. Yes, lots of questions here. I do see that there's a whole question thing that I'm going to dive in. Definitely great for osteoarthritis. Like I said, it will help. You may notice if you have osteoarthritis, really recommend doing collagen and or bone broth. The reason for the bone broth is it has a hyaluronic acid in it. So it helps that synovial fluid around the joint. So it gives more lubrication around the joints and helps with a lot of that, decreasing that inflammation. There's one here, how vegan, if you are vegan, Organica does have a plant-based collagen booster. If that's something you can do, there are certain vitamins and, you don't have to get it from an animal source, but there are things that you can take that naturally produce or help your collagen production within your body. And that might be something beneficial that you can look into if you're not, if you're vegan and not wanting to go down, taking a marine and or a bovine. Great. So I'm just going to go to the question section here because I see so many things here because there's a whole section. Yeah, so a lot of these questions here, you guys are so good. There's so many great questions. Thank you so much. A lot of this is around arthritis, so we did talk a little bit on it. One great question here. So how long should I take it for? Is it something that we can take continuous? So I say this with any supplement that you take, okay? Too much of one thing is not a good thing. And I really recommend if you are taking supplements that it's important that you take a break. Okay. So for example, for myself, I always use probiotics as an excellent, one. I will take my round of probiotics and then I take a couple weeks break. So I give my body a little break from it and then I start back on my regime. So I give my body a little chance to kind of be like, okay, we're not taking it now. And then I get back on it. So, the same kind of thing can be with, your collagen products. So if you're taking collagen, or maybe what you can do is if you want to try marine collagen for a little bit, you can try that. And then you can take a little break and then you can incorporate bovine the next time, right? So give yourself some, some flexibility and some different, variety. Maybe you want to just go drink bone broth for a couple weeks and then take collagen. Like I said, I've been taking it for many, many years, but I always give myself a little bit of a break in between when I'm, when I get to the end of the, the container and things like that, especially when it comes to like my probiotics and my supplements. So never too late to take collagen, you guys. I just want to make sure. Okay, great. So does it need to be taken on an empty stomach? So the timing that you take it, really, honestly, I recommend in the morning. I like to take mine in the morning. Okay, so generally when I take my collagen, what I do is I get up in the morning, I do my greens powder, and then I do my vitamin C with my collagen. I drink that before I have my coffee, or you can have it in your coffee. If you are taking bone broth and collagen and you have digestive disturbances, I find there's a lot of healing benefits to taking it at bedtime. Okay, and the reason for this is that when we go to sleep, our nighttime is where we do a lot of our healing, and it also is a time that our digestive tract gets a break. Okay, so you can incorporate doing a collagen, drinking collagen before you go to bed at night, or have a nice cup of bone broth before you go to bed at night. There's something really soothing about having a cup of bone broth. So you can try doing that, especially if you have some digestive issues. You can have it in your smoothies, but I find for me, I take mine first thing in the morning, and then I'll drink bone broth at night. But, some people will be like, oh, I drink it midday. You can put it in your water bottle, things like that. But, I find that first thing in the morning or nighttime is what works the best for me. If you're finding that you're not seeing results, again, so consistency, I see in the comments here. If you're not seeing results, maybe try switching over to marine collagen and maybe upping your collagen, okay? Some tips, make sure you're getting enough vitamin C in your diet. And then, maybe you need to take 2 tablespoons a day, but consistency every single day. Okay, so there's a lot of great questions, but I think I've gone over a lot of this. I just want to make sure that I don't miss too many. Okay, so chicken is very high. So yes, chicken sternal cartilage is very high in that type 2 collagen. And when you're getting things like chicken bone broth, it is through the chicken feet and chicken sternum that they're extracting that type 2 collagen. So yes, very, very high in that type 2 collagen. You can take type 1, 2, and 3 all at the same time. Autoimmune conditions and skin conditions. So definitely collagen and or bone broth can be very beneficial with healing a lot of the things that are going on in your digestive tract. Skin conditions are a sign of something going on within. And even more so when if we have autoimmune disorders, it's an inflammatory response. So a lot of the clients that I've worked with will have things like psoriasis and or eczema. I definitely say you got to make sure that you're looking at your digestive health as part of your treatment protocol when it comes to things like that. So I would definitely incorporate using something like a collagen and bone broth to help with digestive and skin conditions for sure. Awesome. So there's so many, so many great questions, you guys. I just want to make sure I'm going to go over here. There's so many, you guys are so awesome. Yes, the bone broth, the beef bone broth is pasture raised and antibiotic and hormone free. So just so you guys know, all of Organica's products are growth hormone free, antibiotic free, sustainably sourced, pasture raised, grass fed, free of non-GMO, free of heavy metals and toxins, go through vigorous testing. They do have good manufacturing practice certifications and, like I said, third-party testing. So when it comes to choosing a product, they definitely tick off all of the boxes, and they have for many years of the quality assurance. That's what's making them #1 selling collagen in Canada. And also, you're not breaking the bank. So it's kind of, it's very overwhelming when you're looking at all of these collagen products. Sometimes you can look at collagen products that are in the hundreds of dollars that say that they, do all of these things. But like I said, when you're choosing the right collagen product for you, those are the things that you want to look for. Okay. And you want to make sure, people ask like which one it is. It depends on what you want to use. You're taking collagen for. Okay. You're definitely going to get the benefits of, type 1, type 2, and type 3. You're going to get those amino acids that I talked about, and all of them. So bone broth, collagen, bovine, and marine. So it's really just what you want to use and what you're using it for. You can't go wrong with any 3 of those, or even if you wanted to incorporate. Okay. Definitely, like I said, they're in my daily regime. So awesome, you guys. I think, there's a lot of these questions I've gone over, and I don't want to keep you guys here too much longer. A lot of this stuff here, pasture raised, antibiotic and hormone free. Yes, great, you guys. So I want to make sure that I've answered all you guys' questions. I think I have. There's a lot of these questions. So taste of bone broth, does it come in flavor? So this question, that one, you know what, if you don't, I find that the chicken is mild in flavor compared to beef. A lot of people say that. I actually find that the powder, like when I make bone broth at home, it always tastes so different than the powder one. I think the powder ones taste better. Like I said, chicken is the best one for me. I like the flavor of it. You can add a little bit of sea salt. You can add even something like tamari, things like that to kind of spruce it up. My favorite is the turmeric chicken one. I just like a little kick to it, the little black pepper, but you can definitely add different spices to it. But I find the chicken one, it doesn't taste, there's just something about the beef bone broth that it's not my favorite, in the sense of just, I don't make beef bone broth at home. It is lighter, it just has more of a, I'm gonna say like an earthier, like a richer flavor. I prefer chicken. So if you aren't a fan of bone broth, you're just kind of getting into it, I would choose the chicken because it is quite light, and you get to choose how much you put in there. So I would just start with 1 scoop. If you're just getting into the bone broth, you're still getting the benefits of it. Okay. Awesome. And let's see. So this is a great question. Before I let you guys go, because I've answered this. So our collagen is responsible for the tensile strength in our blood vessels and our joints. But collagen, like I said, when you're taking a collagen product, it's just getting those, it's helping with, you're absorbing those amino acids into the bloodstream. So things that can, when we're getting older, more so for women when we're going through our perimenopausal years, as our hormone levels fluctuate, estrogen is actually responsible for that tensile strength in our blood vessels. So collagen can help alongside that. Women are more susceptible to things like heart disease and or stroke because we lose that tensile strength in our blood vessels. So again, we find collagen naturally in there, and our collagen production decreases alongside our estrogen. Those can be quite loose and we can be prone to blood clots and blockages. So both kind of go hand in hand. So, as our collagen production decreases and our estrogen levels, it might be beneficial to take a collagen product to help keep up that tensile strength within our blood vessels and our arteries. Great, you guys. So I think there's so many questions here. I don't mind answering them privately for some of these, but I definitely appreciate you guys spending the night with me. You guys had so many great, there's 70 questions and this is amazing. And there's been so many of you guys. I hope I answered a lot of your questions when it comes to choosing a collagen product. I know it can be very overwhelming. And like I said, collagen is becoming one of those amazing supplements for so many different health reasons. So hopefully you guys, tonight you learned the benefits of just healthy skin, hair, and nails, and more of the beauty secrets, but the overall benefits of taking a collagen product and incorporating bone broth in your daily life. There's so many different benefits that we can get, digestive health, our joints, our skin. So I thank you guys all for sharing this evening with me. And I thank you for Healthy Planet for hosting, and Organica for having me speak on one of my favorite subjects and topics all around collagen. And just so you guys know, I'm pretty sure if you go to Organica's website, there's so much more information. And there's also, you guys, if you're new to this, they have so many different recipes on how you can incorporate this. So if you want to be adventurous and kind of add this into your daily, check out their website, organica.com. They have a ton of recipes, even their Instagram and their Facebook page. Ton of ways to incorporate this, and they have amazing products. So thank you all so much. And like I said, 20% off, I believe you can use at Healthy Planet for their products for the next 3 days. So I will leave it there, you guys, and I'll go through some of these questions. So if you need to sign off, I'll see if I can answer these outside. I'll turn my camera off and see if I can answer this, and we'll go from there. So thank you so much, everybody. Have a great night.